Alrighty, and here is the video review for Transformers Beast Hunters Deluxe class Bulkhead. Now, you can call him Roadbuster or Brawn, or some people are even saying Rhinox, and I can see if you want to repurpose that working for any of those names. But he is Bulkhead as it stands according to the packaging. He's just his armored up SUV self. He's got a couple new spikes here, different color scheme. He does come with his new weapon. It can plug in here on the side of the vehicle or on top. And it's his dragon grinder, according to the packaging. And it spins. It kind of has a little. You see, it's kind of getting caught up a little bit. And part of that, like here it's working pretty well. Every now and then, this piece will get jammed. And part of the reason is because I took this apart thinking maybe there was a piece of plastic flash or something in there, and not the case. Apparently, there's a gear in between this little slider thing and the actual blade itself. And while it has two little circle pegs, sticking out the top of it so it can spin, the hole on both sides of this that it plugs into is oval-shaped. And it's not warped or mismade. It's very clearly molded on the inside of the shell as an oval shape, which lets that gear wiggle a little bit. And I think it's just a matter of, see, like that, it'll get stuck. I mean, it's really easy to fix, and it goes right back to normal. You can play with it again just fine. But every now and then, it'll just wiggle just enough that it'll catch those gears. I don't know why it's not just a circle slot for the peg there, but just a little quirk for the weapon right off the bat. You can't unscrew it. It's very easy to take apart in case something does get bent or jammed inside there. Now it's his dragon grinder, and you can see it's kind of got a little bit of a dragon face on the weapon itself with the eyes and the fangs and the kind of tail back here, and then the kind of scaly underside of it. So just a neat little gimmick, but not like a mech-tech weapon. Just a cool little spinny blade. Kind of like Ratchet. Is it Dark of the Moon Ratchet that came with it? A grinder like that? But yeah, that's the weapon. And size-wise, he's a little bit bigger than Bumblebee. He's appropriately, in vehicle mode, bigger than Bumblebee, which is nice, and there's Bumblebee with all his spikes on him. Again, he's got the orange and green. Now, the orange plastic, at first I thought it was moldy or dirty. It does have that same streaky mixing on the actual orange plastic, not the paint, that instead of the swirls, like on Bumblebee's got like some swirled bits in his that make them all, I mean, it makes every figure a little unique, but Bulkhead just makes it look like he's got like some mold or something. You want to take like a toothbrush to him and scrub him. Now, on the one hand, if you look at it, it does kind of look like dirt, like he's been off-roading, but on the other hand, it's still, like if you're really obsessed about that stuff, it can look like it's just dirty. And I thought it was at first. One of the drawbacks you do see, like even with his fist folded up, they are a little obvious here on the bottom. Now when you're rolling him around and he's in car mode, it's not super obvious, but if you look at him from the side, he clearly is, he's got his fists hanging out underneath here. So, even the green plastic has some swirly bits in it. I thought maybe it's not stress marks, it's actually the lighter green plastic up here. Not the legs, but the canopy has some swirly bits in it as well. It's just something they're doing with the Beast Hunters line. So yeah, now transform him into robot mode, and he's actually got a really neat transformation over the course of getting him into robot mode. And you start off just flipping the wings up like this, or the doors up like that. And it's not really wings. You take the whole back part and flip the legs all the way out like this, and then the feet. They don't actually flip forward like this. These feet flip forward like this, and they are on ball joints, so you can, or just I guess these are really more the toes. These are all the feet. So like if they have to flatten out to sit in vehicle mode, but when you flip them down like this, you have to angle them a little bit to make them sit with the rest of the foot. The feet do have a slight angle to him, so he stands a little bit wide-legged, which is nice because he doesn't have to stand straight up or down. The angle is out. Split the legs, and you can kind of see more of the robot going on up here. So once that's done, you come up here, you take this front bumper piece, and it actually is flip this piece up a little bit from underneath, and then it's on a little sliding groove. You want to slide it down, and then this piece, and it also angle it forward a bit, and this piece comes and snaps right into this gap, just like that. Holds it open like that. I did tighten, I used a tiny drop of super glue on one side of this slider piece because before it was just way too loose. And the way it's looking, it doesn't look like that's really a quality control thing. It looks like it's just how it's molded So it's fine in robot mode because this kind of locks it and holds it in place, but in vehicle mode it would keep sinking down when it should be pushed up flush against the bumper. Your mileage may vary, but yeah, just a side note there. So you got all that done. The arms come out to the sides here, just like that. And you take this little spine piece here. As you can see, there's a tab here, and there's a slot right here, and you just kind of fold this all the way around underneath. And when you get to about right here, you also want to take the orange piece away from the gold piece here and pop it up. And now you can see the whole torso starting to come into view. And that lets you come up here. You take the gold piece here, flips up, and this little tab pegs up into here. And then you peg the spine all the way onto that tab, and now the whole lower body has come together, as you can see. Raise the camera up here real quick. I guess I probably could do it all on camera like that, but since we're done with the legs, we'll go ahead and move up here. And then at this point, you take the wheels, push them back to fill in this gap right here. Bring the arms down, rotate them around. Body's right here. And then this whole top canopy folds down onto the back, like this. And then you take the two sides here of the hood and pull them out. They actually do snap out into place, and then they can lift up a little bit. And then this orange piece folds down over his head to kind of form like a hood and some pauldrons for his arms. It doesn't come all the way down. Unfortunately, you can, if you want, slide the arms up a little bit to fit in those pauldrons. But it's just kind of supposed to be like armor back there. You can fold the wings up against his body. It helps kind of fill in back here. The wheels do fill in. He doesn't feel like super hollow, but considering he's supposed to be bulky, it does feel a little empty up in here. But if you fold those forward, you can do that. You can also, if you want to, you can lift these up. And you can actually set them over the back of that to hold that armor in place if you want to keep him kind of all shelled up. He's kind of like a giant turtle, actually, now that I think about it. So yeah, and there he is. Unfortunately, his arms are the curling type. Somebody asked if you could cut the hands and rotate them, and it's wide enough there that you could do that. They'd be a little bit more visible in alt mode, but you can actually rotate them and have them sit normally without causing any clearance issues in vehicle mode if you choose to modify your figure in such a way. I'm not big on the curling arms. I wish they could have put a swivel in here, but I see why they didn't. Slightly disappointing, but not the end of the world. He can hold his weapon in his hand, or he can plug it on to his forearm like that. And he's got ball joint shoulders, swivels up here at the mid bicep, the hinge elbows, hinge fist here a little bit for some movement there. No waist swivel, obviously, just because of how it transforms, but he does have ball joint hips, a thigh swivel, hinge knees, and then these feet are ball jointed a little bit to help with some support in wider poses. There, the wheels here don't fold back at all; they just sit here. And again, you can position the armor to your liking as well. I really like the kind of knight collar motif here. The Cyberverse version, as somebody pointed out earlier, looks a lot more like a Viking. This guy, this version looks more like he's a knight with a shield and the kind of steam collar here. It's not really a steam collar, but it has that kind of steampunk collar look. And the helmet. He does have a full visored, a full mouth plate and a visor. And then these little circles up here are, in fact, actually, if you look closely, they are little horns. They do stick out. They're not just little bumps or circles. There are small horns on here. Why they made them blue to match the visor, that's just how they stuck the piece in. I don't know why they didn't just mold that onto the top part of the headpiece. Especially since with these two blue dots in his visor, it looks like he's got a very happy face here. So, it's up to you. In hand, it's not as obvious. Once you see it, it's kind of hard to unsee it, but once he's in hand, you can clearly see where his head is, and you can tell that this is his visor, and these are just a couple of horns. Especially when you look at it from the top, you can tell that these are, see if I can get this out of the way, that these are bumps and horns and not just little round nodules that look like eyes, but they are there. So yeah, if you're looking for a Bulkhead, if you like Prime and you just want a Bulkhead figure, I think there are better ones out there. I don't think this is necessarily the be-all, end-all of Bulkhead figures, obviously. But there's some really neat stuff going on here. I think a lot of the stuff... I've got some opinions on Optimus as well, and some reasons why Optimus should not, even if you don't like the design, why Optimus should be a sign of good things to come for the line, but we'll talk about those later. But yeah, there's some really neat stuff going on with him. The transformation's innovative and fun. I kind of dig some of the... I wish the back kibble collapsed a little bit more, because the overall design of this I really like, and I think you could totally put him in your collection and say, oh, that's Brawn or that's Roadbuster, because he is significantly different enough from the regular Bulkhead that you could get away with that. Now, some people say Rhinox, and I think that's kind of a cool idea, even if he's not really a Rhino, but he does have the horns. So, but yeah, size comparison wise, here he is with other versions of himself. Here he is with the first edition. And here he is with the RID edition of Bulkhead. So you can see he's smaller. So who knows? Here he is with Laserback from the Beast Hunters line. Maybe Laserback's a giant dragon and is more in size with Bulkhead. I don't know. I haven't. The show hasn't come on yet. Let me transform Bumblebee here, and I'll get him. I'll show him off size comparison wise, just so you can get an idea. Because the Bumblebee, while he does have the spiky armor, you've seen Bumblebee. He's pretty much the exact same size and height as his counterpart, because it's more or less the same bot, just with some slightly remolded bits. So, get him all together here. So, yeah. Overall, I think he's fun. I think if you find him at retail, he's worth nabbing. Certainly if you find him, cheaper than retail. Like I said, he's a little smaller than Bumblebee. He's a little shorter than Bumblebee, but he's a little bit more massive than Bumblebee. And you saw in vehicle mode, he's much bigger in vehicle mode than Bumblebee. So yeah, like I said, if you want just a definitive Bulkhead for your Prime collection, this is the one to get. I think the Red Voyager, while it's not as great as this one, is still a very decent figure. And the Deluxe, for what it is fun, but it's not the go-to Bulkhead. So yeah, but there you go. There it is, the Beast Hunters Deluxe. Oh, one of the other things, real quick, on the package. He comes in standard Beast Hunters packaging, spinning dragon grinder, all this. And on the bottom are the co-cells for Starscream, Ripclaw, and Smokescreen. Hooray, because the armor on Smokescreen, as we've seen, is in fact removable. So you can have him as an armored-up Beast Hunters version, or as a fairly decent representation of the show character. Some paint apps are slightly off, and he's got a little bit of kibble. But he's actually a pretty decent-looking figure without the armor on. So Ripclaw, which I think everybody's kind of looking forward to, that looks like a cool mold. And then Starscream, which I put it closer to the camera and zoom in, but the thing is, the detail on this thing, even having it in hand and putting it right up to my face, it's really, really hard to pick out anything on these small pictures. There's my thumb. It's not huge. But it looks like Starscream's got some sort of capture claw weapon and some, angled armory bits on him as well. So yeah, there's wave 2 of the Beast Hunters Deluxes. There's one of those figures from that wave, Bulkhead. And like I said, he's pretty cool. Not perfect, but a solid C+, B-, I think, range. He's certainly not the worst figure we've gotten in the line, which I know is not kind of damning with faint praise, but he's a nice figure.